The man I always enjoy talking to about health, he knows everything that's going on, is Dr. Vincent. Vincent, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday, Richard. Happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you for having me on again. It's such a great time that I have every time I'm on with you. Off air as well, because those who are listening from home, before we went on air, Richard and I were just talking about how important it is to adapt in life because you never know what life is throwing your way.
Exactly right. You don't. And, I speak to so many people about that. And, we do have to be adaptable in everything that
Yeah,
we do.
and we do know that through the nature of evolution, it is not the strongest or the smartest creature that survive and keep on thriving. It's those who can adapt to their situation.
Exactly right. What are we going to discuss today?
Something that I think will help us to live longer and potentially happier because it will have a profound impact on our health. The topic that I picked today is seven seemingly harmless health symptoms and signs you shouldn't ignore. Because you know what? Our body are constantly trying to communicate with us, sending signals, something, telling us that something might not be right, something feels off. Unfortunately, many of these signs are really easy to dismiss. And I feel that more the more grown up we are, the busier we are, we seem to be very quick to dismiss things, especially if they seem minor or inconsequential. But statistically in Australia, 50% of adults live with at least one chronic health condition. And early detection can mean anything. It can means everything I meant. It can make a significant difference when you try to manage or prevent serious illnesses.
And, statistics show that around 20% of Australians, we do delay going to the doctor, don't we?
We do, especially people who are busy with work, busy with family, and unfortunately, the rate of people who try to delay seeking medical advice is actually double in women. And we know that uh, in a lot of households, women are the primary caretaker of
Yeah.
kids. And I do think that sometimes, uh, you know, they try to put others' needs first. However, these seven seemingly harmless health symptoms can actually be the sign of an underlying more serious health conditions.
All right, let's go number one. What's number one?
Persistent fatigue. Sometimes people feel that, oh, I'm so tired. I feel so run down. And it is often brushed off as a consequence of busy lifestyle, especially if you do have a busy lifestyle. But, it can be a sign of things like anemia, thyroid disorders, or even sleep apnea. In some cases, it can indicate an underlying cardiovascular issues or depression because don't forget all of these things such as the amount of iron in your blood. If it's low, we call it anemia. Or if your thyroid function is not well, or if you're not sleeping well, or if your body is not receiving freshly pumped blood that is rich in oxygen. All of those stuff can lead to your body feeling run down. And if you do feel that uh, sleeping and eating and drinking water is not fixing that, you need to talk to someone because you know uh, it can save you from having to undergo a much more drastic procedure, especially when
Yeah.
it comes to your cardiovascular and uh, condition.
Years ago, and I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, which was a thyroid thing, and I was tired
Yes.
all the time. And went along to the doctor, simple blood test, and I've been on medication ever since.
Yes, and I mean, it is really important for us to not overly reliant on two things. One is Google, and the
Yes.
second one is self-diagnosing. Because uh, while while it is also important not to be hypochondriac and be worried all the time about something that can go wrong, I think we need to strike a balance in approaching health symptoms or health signs.
Exactly right. Number two, unexplained weight loss or gain. And we're not saying you just ate some takeaway on the weekend, you put on half a kilo, are we?
Yes, we're not. Oh, I mean, lucky you, half a kilo. Whenever I have takeaway over the weekend, I think it's at least 1 kilogram because I know that I have that tendency of overeating
Yeah.
or binge eating
I,
when being faced with something that I really like.
I was
However,
being
what
kind. I was being kind, Vincent. So,
I know, but listeners appreciate me being very honest, and I am very honest because even though I know that we always need to make healthier choice, I'm also human because food is a source of joy. However, when we talk about the unexplained weight gain or weight loss, we're talking about a sudden change in weight without changes to diet or activity levels,
yeah.
because it can be the result of hormonal imbalance, thyroid dysfunction, diabetes, or even cancer. So rapid weight loss may also indicate that your body is trying to tell you that there is a gastrointestinal disorders, because usually our body is really good at maintaining weight at a certain level. And this is the reason. For those of you who have tried to lose weight, you know what I'm talking about, because it is so hard to move that scale to our favor when we're trying to lose weight. The same thing, a lot of people who want to not be skinny, who want to be at the healthy weight range while being underweight, it's really hard to put on weight. So when things like this happen, please go and see your GP, seek medical advice, because when your weight fluctuates that significantly over a short period of time, something is not right under the skin.
Number three is really is a concerning for people. Frequent headaches on there.
Yes, occasional headaches, you may dismiss them because they may be a result from
Yeah.
stress, dehydration, lack of sleep, or overconsumption of a substance called alcohol the night before. However, frequent and severe headaches could be symptoms of migraines, vertigo, high blood pressure, and even brain or neurological conditions. So we need to make sure that we get it checked out, because not only it is annoying and you're suffering from it, it really headaches really affect not only your behavior, your psychological approach to things, but also affect your relationship. Because imagine trying to function and work and
Oh, you
talk to someone,
can't do it. Doesn't
you
work.
can't do it. So that's why headaches needs to be checked out, because it can be debilitating. And if especially if it causes you vision problem and dizziness,
Yeah.
please make sure you get it checked and don't drive or put yourself in the situation where you need to be able to react quickly and correctly, because you may harm yourself or others.
Exactly right. Number four, changes in skin appearance, and we're not talking Michael Jackson, are we?
No, we're not talking Michael Jackson, rest his soul, but we are talking about things that we Aussies should be really good. I mean, with all the slip, slap, slop campaign, with all of this UV factor education, we need to know that, uh, especially here in Australia, sun is not always your friend. It can cause melanoma and skin cancer.
Yeah.
So, new moles, discoloration, patches of dry skin, it may seem minor, but it can signal skin cancer, autoimmune condition, and even things like liver dysfunction or severe diabetes. So, um, uh, when we talk about skin, the reason why I hesitated there, because I feel that a lot of people think that skin issues are minor because they're all about vanity. But our
No.
skin is the largest organ in our body. Any changes in your skin, especially if a mole changes shape, size, or color, it needs to be evaluated. You probably don't have to go right away to a dermatologist because it can be expensive. But the GP here in Australia, they are all trained really well to tackle and advise a broad range of health issues. And if they don't know, or and they're not sure, they will refer you to their colleague or specialist who know what to do.
Exactly right. Digestive problems, and so many people suffer from this, don't they?
Yes, and it's really important because we're not talking just about bloating or indigestion. It can be IBS, food intolerance, allergy, or even colon cancer. But the reason why I put this as one of the seven is because 70% of our well-being and wellness originate from our gut, because
Yeah.
not only it helps us to absorb the nutrients, it also signals a lot of system in our body. So when we are talking about the changing pattern in our in our digestive system, we need to pay attention to the symptoms, because they can be a sign of something more serious.
Exactly right. Chronic cough or hoarseness. Now, so many people have suffered from this, and I'd say more so since COVID. We're a bit more, switched on for this now, aren't we?
I know that is absolutely right. We used to just put that as a background noise when someone is coughing, especially if it's just a minor, not really deep cough. We call it a lingering cough, and they just being dismissed as a random of cold. But if the last time you caught cold was 3 years ago, they are no longer a lingering remnant from your
Yeah.
cold or flu or being sick. They can be a sign of chronic uh, disease like acid reflux, for example, or asthma, or even lung cancer, or an infection, undetected infection in the lower part of your respiratory system. So, cough is not a normal bodily reaction. You may sneeze sometimes, even though you don't have allergy, though you don't have any sickness, because that's just your body reaction to a stimulus. However, cough is not like sneezing. It's not something that your body just automatically react to. Cough most of the time is a sign that there is something not
Yeah.
right
Something
in your
wrong.
respiratory
Yeah.
system, something wrong. So get it checked out.
Now, the last one's numbness or tingling. And look, I suffered from this the other day because I sat in a doctor's office so long that my leg went to sleep, which is always good when you get up to go along and see him after. He goes, "What's wrong with your leg?" And I said, "I've been sitting here for so long waiting for you. I've gone to sleep now."
Well, that is fortunately something that your body reacts naturally. However, when the tingling and numbness sensation persists, and also happens all the time, even when you are in the correct position, because occasional tingling that you describe is because there was a disruption in terms of the blood circulation. However, when we're talking about something that we need to be a little bit more aware, is things that can indicate nerve damage, uh, persistent poor circulation, and things like MS, multiple sclerosis, because again, your body rely on that blood supply, or your body
Yeah.
rely on the electrical current that makes up our neurological system. So if those two systems, or one of those two systems, are being disrupted, this can cause tingling sensation or numbness, especially in the lower part of our body. So seek medical attention, especially if this is being accompanied by, persistent tiredness or chronic fatigue or muscle weakness, because that can actually be something that is more serious than just, sitting correctly or fixing your posture.
So all of these things we should not ignore them. So got to have that relationship with your doctor, don't you? That you can go along,
Yes,
and we know that going to the doctor is probably more expensive now than it's ever been out there. But don't ignore these things, and don't use Doctor Google. Good heavens, go to the doctor.
that's correct. And I chuckle because if you put in the key search term headaches, I tried this before we went on air. The fifth search result was brain tumor. So
Yeah,
you don't want to go from drinking water to you possibly have a brain tumor from, like, one, two, three, five, four, five search results. So I really do think that these people, I mean, the doctors, they train years and years. Please trust their judgment when it comes to making the diagnosis. But in the same breath, also trust your gut instinct when you have that good relationship with your body, and your body is trying to tell you
yeah.
something. You need to make sure you don't ignore it, because if you ignore it too often, you will automatically dismiss it, and before you know it, things that could be really simple in terms of the remedy and being repaired and fixed could be the start of something a lot more serious.
Exactly right. Where do we find out more information about you, Vincent?
Anappleaday.com.au, because you know what? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. So if you don't want to see your doctor, make sure that you look after yourself when it comes to nutrients, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to hydration. However, going to the doctor is not a sign of weakness. So if you do
No.
need to go to the doctor, in the meantime, visit our website, anappleaday.com.au, because we are all about preventative healthcare, where you can find recipes, easy to make food, simple health tips, and everything else that you may think of.
There we go. Vincent, we will talk to you next week here on 5AA.
Thank you so much. Look after yourself, everyone. Bye bye.